Every night, thousands of player and team props hit the books. Edgeboard runs every single one through advanced simulations built on years of historical data and services the few with the real statistical edge. Tap any prop to unlock the deep matchup data behind it. We cover every major sports league with more being added all the time. Want a parlay? Choose your book, your legs, your leagues, and how aggressive you want it. Edgeboard auto-builds the strongest ticket for you. Try it free for 7 days. After that, just $9.99 a month. Edgeboard. Find your edge. Every night, thousands of player and team props hit the books. Edgeboard runs every single one through advanced simulations built on years of historical data and services the few with the real statistical edge. Tap any prop to unlock the deep matchup data behind it. We cover every major sports league with more being added all the time. Want a parlay? Choose your book, your legs, your leagues, and how aggressive you want it. Edgeboard auto-builds the strongest ticket for you. Try it free for 7 days. After that, just $9.99 a month. Edgeboard. Find your edge.
Alrighty, folks, good day. Welcome, Edgeboard.live. August 20th. Use code EDGE. 25% off any subscription you use. This is good for year-round. We are in every major sport out there. We are working like crazy behind the scenes preparing for NFL, NCAA football. Can't wait for NBA. I just recorded a video. This Edgeboard.live is crazy. I literally just recorded a video. I'm up over 44 units week to date using this site. And I want to be clear. You guys can go to all these channels, all these experts. Nobody is doing that. And because of this site, this is my first year ever betting baseball. I am no baseball expert. It's been great. I used to love baseball. It's got me back in the baseball streets. But I am not a baseball expert. And in 1 year betting baseball now, I am absolutely crushing it because of this software. So we're going to talk a little bit about tonight's slate. I'm not going to go more over that. I really would love you to go watch that video that I just posted on YouTube. And if you can show me, I'm not just saying you, if you can show me anybody, you show me anybody who has better 1 week results, I'll give you the software for 30 days for free. I just posted a video about that. Now, here's the thing. This is the thing about betting. We sports bet because A, we enjoy it. I like watching the games when I have props on it. It's kind of why you bet football. A lot of people bet football because it adds some fun to it. But we also are going to do this because we want to make money. We want to manage a bankroll. So while I'm telling you how great I'm doing, I'm also going to urge caution. I think this is a terrible slate today. I actually think it's a terrible slate. First of all, it's a small slate. It's a 9-game slate. There's not a single one of these games that we show currently in over a 10-run over-under. The closest one is the first game of the day, which I do think is a game we can find some value in. So right off the bat, I've already looked at the slate. I've looked at the weather. I've looked at the pitchers. I want to get ahead of this. If you notice when you hop on it, we give you a little summary to start when you get in there. And what I can say right now, again, overall, don't love the slate. I have not, this is me doing this live with you, literally going down the line, and we're going to look at some of these props together. I need to figure out where my pen went, because I'm going to be writing down props with you as we go. Hopefully I didn't lose the pen. And, well, shit. Maybe I'm going to have to bet them live with you. I don't want to have to walk away from this. Anywho, well, look, we'll hit up the wife. All right. So here's what I can say. Looking at the software, looking at the data, looking where we're at, I do like this Tampa Bay. I think that the 59.7% for them to win is a good bet. part of, I showed how incredibly well I did last night. You know what's crazy about that? And I didn't even talk about it in my video. I had a 3-team parlay that was worth, or a 3-leg parlay with Tampa Bay that was worth a home run prop. It was a plus 500 parlay, and it was on Tampa Bay money line, and they were up 7-1. And then their bullpen like completely shit the bed, and it was 7-6. So ended up, even after having just this crazy good night last night, the sad thing was that was without that prop hitting, again, using a boost. And I really am not a big parlay guy except for pitcher combined props, which you'll see me talk about for little 2-leg parlays, or if I have to use it for a boost. Had that boosted last night, and I thought for sure that one was coming through, and it didn't. I do like Cleveland here. What we're showing, though, right now is this is also why this is a bad slate. We're not really seeing any value to these. I'm even confused why this is showing up. I didn't even think this is part of what's on the slate. This might, to be honest, this has got me very confused. I'm going to actually have to look this up. I have no idea why this is showing up. Unless I completely overlooked this. I think this is a glitch. Yeah, this game is not today, but they just finished a series. I have no clue when this game is supposedly happening. So let's just overlook that one. I really don't want to touch this game. I don't see a whole lot there I love. I think that there is definitely this is showing some data, and I think we're doing a download on NFL right now. So I think this is mixing in some games that maybe are a future slate. I'm very confused at this one because I don't think that's happening, and I think this series is over. So please do not look at these. We do have Milwaukee at Seattle. This is a legit game. I think there is a little value there. I don't know if I want to bet it. I think that Houston over LAA is definitely another one. But again, what am I looking for? Where is the value? This game, I'm not so sure on this one, but I do have a play from it. If we're just going to pass that, this one is going to be post-rain, and I'm not in love with that either. So I'm definitely not in love with Washington over Texas's Jacob deGrom. I think that's a little bit crazy in my opinion. So we're definitely showing some games that are not playing. This is a small slate. I know the slate. What I can tell you right now is that looking at this, other than possible parlay piecing a couple items, I am not even slightly interested in any money lines. There is possibly some run lines of value. I think we're not interested in any of these pluses with terrible EV. If you notice here, we're just seeing a whole lot of expected value as negative. So again, bad slate. Today's going to be a limited betting day. We're going to scoot down here. This game doesn't even exist. Here's the game that I think, again, I just lost this yesterday. Tampa Bay's bullpen is a little sussy. Tampa Bay's offense is on fire. Shane Bieber's hittable. Ian Seymour's pretty good. So this run line at plus money, I didn't even, this is me going into it saying, is there something out here I love? This one, I think, you could see me looking at, and then I don't think there's anything else. I mean, to be honest, really not all that interested. When you're getting a run line and we still think it's 50.8% to hit, that's where I think you see some value. So I'm going to just scoot that over there. I'm going to scoot that over here in the plays I'm interested in. Tampa Bay run line is literally it so far. I was going to say possibly this one, but Houston's offense has been unbelievably disappointing back and forth. There was something else that was interesting about this game. Grayson Rodriguez sucks. Peter Lambert's been pretty good. Houston's offense has been very disappointing. Grayson Rodriguez somehow crushes Alvarez, has great history against him. So That was going to be one of my bets that I was like, I need to look this up. And I looked up, and this is why you use the software. The software tells me, okay, maybe I should pass. I want to talk about totals. I do think there are some possible plays here. This one's interesting. Randy Dobnak had, you talk about advanced pitcher metrics. He definitely looks hittable, but the situation is one of the things that's not good about today is there's weather that moved through. So the country in a lot of spots is colder today. A lot of humidity has moved out of these ballparks. Wind is in Kansas City, low 80s. Gauge jump away from Oakland is a different pitcher. So I'm going to tell you to avoid this. This game isn't even happening. This one, I'm going to probably avoid this. That's kind of interesting. Again, this goes back to just offenses that aren't performing well, despite a pitcher that sucks. Probably avoid. Again, we've kind of got a mixed bag because we're downloading some data right now. A little bit of confusion in these streets. This was, again, the game I wanted to point out. So I think there's a little bit of a parlay play here. I'd like to see what we think the Tampa Bay run line is. I think that's a low run line that they're giving us plus money on. Do I expect Toronto to score a lot of runs? The thing about Toronto that's interesting, again, yesterday's game ended up being 7-6. And while Toronto was definitely a fade, their offense has heated up. And while Ian Seymour's decent, look at these starters. Ian Seymour's decent. He's still a 38 ranked starter. Now that goes up to 99. Shane Bieber is currently ranked a 6 starter for us. Even bullpens, but look at this offense. So the thing about it is we're ranking Toronto's offense pretty terribly, and rightfully so, earlier this year. But if you actually look at Toronto's recent series, I'm not going to bore you with the stats. They're way hotter of late. So this is, again, a hot team. The other one I wanted to kind of see where it stood is I think this one's interesting. Now the problem is this is a lean. The thing is, Brady Singer and Michael McGreevy are both pitchers to contact. They're not really strikeout pitchers. They both get hit. McGreevy has not been great. Singer's been a mixed bag. The problem is both offenses also are a mixed bag. So I personally am going to lean to the over on this one. I'm going to want to look a little harder at some matchups this game. We're going to really break this game down. And then what I'd love to do is make our determination there. But I think that this showing it, if this is truly minus 103 at 8.5, I think this is a good play here. I actually think I'm going to play this. It's going to have to talk me out of it. So that's where we're at, folks. That's kind of looking at those slates. Let's kind of just dig into right off the bat. We're going to actually play this a little different today. We're going to go and actually just go game by game because, again, it's a short slate. You're going to see me very quickly move off of some games. There's very few games I love today. The first game of the day, I do think, has some intrigue, and that is this St. Louis at Cincinnati game. It's, again, cold. It's in the 70s, but we do have a light wind out. It does remain a bit humid in Cincinnati. And then what's also interesting about that game is that it's in Cincinnati, right? If this was the same, everything I just told you in St. Louis, we're not interested. But that ballpark is a different ballpark. So I just want to see what kind of elite matchups we see. What do we like there? I will tell you that this is literally going to be my first play of the day too. I mean, we've already talked about Tampa Bay, but this is what I thought I'd see. This is what I wanted to see. And yes, put me in on this one, Coach. Alec Burleson, it's a guy I've used. I mean, he's been proven. Oh, wonderful. Lineup is out this game. So he's going to be batting third. We got the lefty-righty contact there. We got him between Ivan Herrera, Jordan Walker. I mean, that's a perfect scenario, right? You're sandwiching a hot hitter between two good bats. So what that means is they got to pitch to him. And, you know, look at this matchup. It's a +7 matchup. The only negative is that he likes to strike out. Look at his career against Brady Singer. 429 with a home run. Granted, it's only 7 at bats, but there is nothing about this that tells me no. Now, the EV part, maybe that we've already baked in some negative EV to him. I literally wanted to just look at this first. Again, our software is a little confused right now. I think I know what's going on because of this download. My apologies, folks. Getting hit up here. Look, here's the bottom line on this one. Some of the software is doing some odd things. Chase Burns is not pitching today. We're downloading stuff as we speak. So we're doing, I was warned that there could be some glitches, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to fight through a couple glitches today. But what we do know is this is against Brady Singer. That we know for sure. We know this is Jordan Walker. That we know for sure. I will tell you that it was telling us to pick Cincinnati. I was a little confused by that. And I think now I know why. I think the download, the software's a little glitched out right now. And I think it thinks that we're up against Chase Burns today from a team standpoint. So not sure why it's saying that, but it is definitely not. It's night and day. It's you know, Brady Singer. So what else do we see here? This is kind of interesting. We think that Jordan Walker is also an elite matchup against him. I wasn't expecting that. He only is 0 for 7 with 4 Ks. He likes his pitch types. I'm going to tell you that I would not be shocked to see Jordan Walker do some damage. What I do know is Jordan Walker is good enough that he's going to have to pitch Alec Burleson, honestly, which is great. So Alec Burleson is really our focal play here. I'm loving that I'm seeing these Cardinals show up on here. Let's look at JJ Weatherholt. I don't think I'm going to play him. He's look, this is a great rookie, a great addition for the Cardinals, but let's be honest, he is batting .250 versus righties. He's a lefty. He should be doing better than that. He doesn't hit these pitches great. They're yellow. They're okay. Again, what is this pitcher like? He's not great. I don't know why we're not showing any history against him, but he's also batting .190 in August. So I don't think there's any shame in passing up on that. I think it just simply goes back to who's screaming here. And this is Alec Burleson. Alec Burleson screaming off the charts. Love it. And then this is basically what we consider our 3 elite matchups. And I do think this is interesting that we're not showing any Reds elite matchups. So let's just see what shows up in favorable land. Kind of curious to see here. Again, kind of the usual suspects we talked about. This gets even more interesting. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I do when I start to say, okay, the Cardinals are plus money today. Let's just kind of continue to look at these matchups. Look how well Ivan Herrera hits Brady Singer's main 2 pitch types. So maybe he is only 244 against righties, but against these types of pitches, he loves them. And again, look at this pitcher. Now, what are we looking at here? He is only 250 against him. Again, this is only 4 at bats though. So hard to say there, but this kind of has you again. This is how I use the software to determine what I'm thinking could be going on here. So elite matchups versus favorable. Not a single Cincinnati Red has been added to this mix, but Ivan Herrera was added to the mix. So I got to tell you, that does make this a little more interesting to me. Do we look at the Cardinals? Do we look at this over? Possibly. My only hitter prop I have for this game is Alec Burleson. I'm going to go off the plus EV matchups. I just want to make sure, does anything not positive stand out? So we're not really looking at guys who are going to strike out. These are not strikeout pitchers. Dane Myers, who's been very hot, does get added to the mix. The Dane Myers play yesterday, which is why we want to look at this. Why did I go with it? Why should you consider it? The books have not caught up with the fact that Dane Myers has been moved up to third in the lineup. It's a complete change. Now now this is interesting. Today against McGreevy, they have moved Dane Myers back down to seventh. So again, lineups being out are huge when you have this extra ability to kind of see what's going on here. They have boosted some of their lefties back up. So JJ Bleday has gotten moved back up. Again, this is kind of frustrating. Libby pitched yesterday. We do not even have strikeout king Eugenio Suarez in the lineup today. Very interesting. They've got Tyler Stevenson. Okay, this guy's... All right, we need to talk. Chat, we need to talk here. This lineup for Cincinnati is almost a kind of give it up lineup, maybe. Stevenson batting fourth and McLean batting fifth, with some other subs batting later in the lineup. Toglia batting sixth, batting 118 versus right-handed pitchers today. Batting 0. Now it's only two things. All right, guys, look, this is why we do what we do. I mean, let's continue to see what we see out here. Sal Stewart, 253, does hit his pitch as well. Batting 0 against McGreevy. This might be a live play. This might be a live play. 232 versus righties. Does hit his pitch types well. Does hit McGreevy well. He is leading off. They've got Ellie De La Cruz as a DH today. Look at how crazy this is. We sim De La Cruz for a 1.5 HRR at 35.8%. This, I have to tell you that some of this is going to have to be you trusting me over the software right now. And what we might do is we might log out and log back in just to see. That's what we're going to do here, folks. We're going to log out, log back in as we're doing this live. And we're going to log out and log back in and see if maybe some of that download is done. See if it's updated. Because some of this stuff is just seems glitchy. We're dealing with a little bit of glitchy here. I gotta look at this before I go back to my props. I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm gonna look at that line. So that hasn't changed. That hasn't changed. What do we do when I do this, by the way, is because we do not like betting. Baseball is much more binary than any other sport. So we're really just looking at whether we think a prop's going to happen or not. And again, I'm focusing a lot on this first game because I think this first game, it really has more opportunity than the other games. We were just kind of going down the line of favorable matchups to see. Yeah, I think this is up. Nope, it hasn't. So Look, we got a few glitches going on today. I'll talk to my devs. I think this is due to a download. We'll definitely get into that. I mean, I don't think we can really say that Ellie De La Cruz, while he's hot against McGreevy, his recent form, he's batting 149 in August. He's batting 149 in August. I think the Cardinals could be a play here. Now, I will say McGreevy has not played well of late, but now that I've seen this lineup, and I mean, there's nothing about the Cardinals lineup that's out of whack compared to how out of whack the Cincinnati lineup is. I think it changes everything. The line's probably moving as we speak, so I'm probably spending too much time talking about it. I mean, Tyler Stevenson batting cleanup as a favorable home run matchup. Batting 0 also against McGreevy. This is an interesting lineup they've thrown out. I'm going to tell you folks right now, this lineup's favors St. Louis. So we're going to actually hop in these streets right now. It kind of changes my thought process just because of how hot or cold these teams have been. This really changes the over 8.5 also. I mean, they do still have their big three kind of starting off. They've got Ellie, Sal, and JJ Bleday, but again, just cold. Sal's been okay. I don't know what's happened to JJ Bleday, to be honest. Something is off with this guy. I'll look up one more thing here, and then we're gonna talk this. I think it makes me want to. I mean, what happened to JJ Bleday? Doesn't hit McGreevy's pitch types well. 0-4 against McGreevy. 167 in August. This team has gone to shit. This team has gone to shit. I am going to change my focus, folks. We're going to change our focus. We're literally going to bet this live because I think this line is moving as we speak. I think that since the Cardinals, the Cardinals are now favored. Jesus Christ, I got in on this too late. This line's moving. Minus 106 is the best prop for the Cardinals now. This is live. If you're on with me live, you're catching this as we speak. And what we're going to do is DraftKings has an early win, go up 2 runs, and your money line bet wins instantly. This is a great prop because the Cardinals bullpen sucks. So DraftKings has the best odds. St. Louis, they go up 2 runs. You instantly win the bet, basically at even money. We were dogs. This lineup has been released. This is a we give up type of lineup to me on Cincinnati's part. I am not interested in McGreevy's stats because he hasn't been great of late. But we're also going to look at team total now. So team totals. Let's go back into DraftKings and just look at this game because this is such a weird change in events. I think this line continues to move. Game lines. Have they taken some of the props off the board? Team total runs. So they have Cincinnati over 4.5 at plus money now. Cardinals over 4.5 minus 10 now. I am no longer interested in, well, that still tells you like what happened to the, all right, where are we at with the over under? So the over under has moved up to 9, which is interesting, over 8.5. I probably should have done some type of I probably should have done some type of action on this where I combine a prop. Cardinals offense has been a little hit or miss. Now, it was a scenario against Chase Burns yesterday, so we can't hold that against him. But just the offense as a whole has been a little bit hit or miss. We've scored 4, 3, 5, 2, and 11. So in the last 4 games, we've only topped 4.5 runs once. Brady Singer has been decent. He hasn't been. I like how we match up. Like I say, this really changes, and this is why you use the site. This is why you use the data. We have moved off run lines. We literally, the new play now is simply the Cardinals, and it's a shame that I didn't catch this quicker, that this lineup was this weird. So we're literally going that, and then because of, since I'm on here now, let's just look at the last thing we're going to do. We're only going to bet the Cardinals basically at even money. Weird lineup by the Reds. And we're going to look purely at Alec Burleson props and what have those props done? What do we think we have here? 50% of games hitting a double. That's interesting. Total bases 1.5. Absolutely. Home run, maybe. Let's see what the true line is on that. RBI plus money 60% of the time. You know, we don't love this prop as much. I don't want to overbet him. Batting .328 with a 1.1 OPS in August. Weatherholt, Herrera in front of him, Jordan Walker behind him, all classified as different versions of elite or strongly favorable matchups. We're going to go pretty heavy Burleson, folks. We're going to go pretty heavy Burleson. Let's just go ahead and see what's out there. So for a home run, I do see a plus 320. Not totally in love with that. That is probably at best a fair EV play at 320. We show only a 20% chance of that happening. This is kind of that scenario of what do you want to do here? Is he going to hit a... Here's what I'm going to tell you. I wish there was a prop and it would be like a home run or a double. And in the last games, he has not hit a home run in 3 games, then 2 home runs in his last 5. And then doubles in his last 5. The 2 days he didn't hit a home run, he hit a double. But then one day he hit a double and a home run. He loves Brady Singer. This is a strong matchup. He's hit a home run against Brady Singer. It's in a ballpark you can hit home runs. We're going to sprinkle both, which is not, one of these is not hitting. And I'm not a huge fan of this. So I am fine with you opting to say, let's not do this. But I think why I'm willing to say this is I think that the way I'm going to support this and how I'm going to do this, first of all, the double is giving you better money than the home run. 358 for a double right now on DK. Then what you want to do is do you want to still bet bases at minus 110? I think we do a small sprinkle there. I don't think we do the HRR because it's probably, wow, it's only minus 125. I'm having a hard time. Let's not bet total bases because we've already overbet a home run and a double. So that's total bases right there. I think that we support this more. I don't think we go the RBI route. I don't think we go any other route now. I think that we're going with, he's hit 70% of the time in a good environment, in a lineup that he's surrounded by good action. And I think that what we're going to do is just support this with the HRR. If it's truly, wow. Okay. If this is correct, folks, I just had a site. Okay. All right. No. All right. I just misread something. I was going to have you run to a stat. All right. So we might not be betting this. This is moved to 160. This is moved to minus 160. That's nuked. That's nuked. Plus 140 for an RBI. Plus 140 for an RBI. I'm going to hold off because I think at this point, what I try to do is say what makes sense. So here's what I would tell you folks. Probably the smarter bet would just be to go total bases and an RBI if you want to just have make safer money. I'm probably too all in on Alec Burleson's matchup. I might be a little too all in. There is minus 105 on bases on Fanatics. I think that that's probably, you know, if you just wanted to say, Matt, I just want to make some money, then I think the total bases is your play. Total bases, Alec Burleson is my second play of the day. And we're going to leave it at that. Total bases, and then the Cardinals with this we've given up lineup is, I think, where the play's at. We're going to look real quick and just make sure there's no other weird boost out there that we're missing. So very good. So Cardinals and Alec Burleson, you can go with any combo. That's my first game for you. We're going to move on. So I want to look at something here because this is another great tool on our site, and it is the First Blood. Now, again, I feel like we're pulling in some odd data today, so I'm going to try to look at this to make sure it makes sense, but I'm never a big Yerfy guy. Sometimes I think a Nerfy makes sense. And what we're trying to look for is if there's any plus EV to this. Right now, again, I think because we're doing this big data pull, things are a little glitchy today. So I'm not showing where the plus EV is on this. But what I can say is that we're going to pass. Nothing screams out to me. I was going to say that this game that might make sense to me was San Francisco at Cleveland. But I do think there is a chance Cleveland could score first against Landon Rupp. Here's what I can say for that game. Over under 7.5. It's 78 degrees. Wind is right to left. It's not a great ballpark. Landon Rupp has been a mixed bag. Gavin Williams had a rough last outing, but overall has been very strong. What I would say for this, and I just glitched out all my odds. I don't know why I clicked that. Is probably a pass game just because Gavin Williams' strikeouts of late, like I think it's probably already priced in, would be my guess. I am not interested in anything on the San Francisco side of this. I do think that Cleveland has some potential, and I think that the Cleveland money line would be interesting. I'm not going to go a run line because I don't think there's going to be a ton of runs scored. There was very poor runs scored last game, so we don't show a single elite bet coming out of this game. Again, I might have to cut the stream short because I'm just seeing so many glitches today in the software, which again, my dev warned me that we were doing this download and he said some things could be off because Parker Messick pitched yesterday. So look, the Cardinal game had some stuff on it. I think we literally, I'm going to go to one other game. I'm just kind of curious on. Let's go back to team matchups. There is one interesting game that I think we should be possibly considering that I didn't even see pop up. So again, my apologies today, folks. I was we have so many folks all in on football that we literally have our site working overtime right now on football related data. I knew that we were doing this big download, so I think it's glitching some things out. I'm hopping back on just because I'm curious to see if this is updated on here. Yeah, so the Atlanta-Chicago White Sox game is not even showing up. What I can tell you about that game is Atlanta is traveling to Chicago for a one-game series only. And that to me is odd. Chicago has their Anthony Kay performing, who I think has been good. I don't have any data to show you. Grant Holmes has been touched up. So I'm going to revisit this later. I'm not going to stream about it, but I kind of like the Chicago White Sox in this scenario to win this game. Atlanta's in a bit of a weird funk. And I think this is a spot that's just like, it's everything favors a home team. They get a full night of rest. Atlanta has to travel. Atlanta has to travel again, literally right after the game. The pitching matchup, Grant Holmes against Anthony Kay. Give me the White Sox on that. So it's not even showing up on our data. We're going to go to one last game. We're literally, I can tell you, I've looked at this whole slate. Okay. The only other game that I think has some interest to me is I think that Houston over the Angels, I definitely have interest in. But I didn't think it was going to be this nuked. Grayson Rodriguez is not good. The Angels, the last 5 games have scored 2-3-0-0-1. Peter Lambert has been good. I think there's something there. The problem is minus 160 doesn't intrigue me. I think some form of a parlay would intrigue me. I think that there is the run line. There's just not enough runs also being scored by Houston. So that's kind of my take on that game. Let's hop into the only other game that I want to show you some plays on. And that is this Toronto versus Tampa Bay. And let's just hop into our props and let's just look at if this supports what I think and what we want to do with it. Sorry. Had to respond to something here real quick. All right. So we're going to wrap this up by looking at Tampa Bay and the fact that we've got a very hittable pitcher and a hot offense, and what a plays do we want to make out of this. So first guy I want to talk about is Yandy Diaz. So this is very intriguing. They have switched their lineup at Tampa Bay. I think it's very important that you know that and know how to play it differently because of it. So that lineup has already been announced. I think that you should, which is great. So again, want to give you some more insight to this. We are now leading off Chandler Simpson today, which I absolutely love. This is just a guy batting for incredible average, a speed demon. He gets on the bases. He's going to cause havoc. We've moved Caminero, interesting, I don't love this, to second. That's going to kind of nerf a little bit of Caminero's stats, in my opinion. We have Aranda batting third. He's been a mixed bag. I've lost money on him of late. We need to see how he matches up. He's a good singles guy. Then the craziest one is we have Yandy Diaz, now their cleanup hitter. And the crazy thing is he's actually hitting for power of late. So Yandy Diaz, we're definitely looking at Tampa Bay to win this game. I think we're going to, again, look at this 1.5 run line. We're going to look at some runs scored. And then Burleson was my one play. Absolutely, Yandy Diaz. Absolutely. Absolutely, he's hot. This is our elite matchup. I don't know about the elite matchup part. Let's look at this. He is +6 favorable matchup. Now, here's the crazy thing. The Shane Bieber stats, you're going to see Shane Bieber has good stats against these guys a lot. The problem is this is old Shane Bieber for the most part. So when it says he's batted 111 against Shane Bieber, well, he got a base against him on July 23rd. The last time he faced him was a guy who used to be a predominant pitcher in the league. So you really can't look at Shane Bieber's stats. This is a guy who went through a terrible injury. Since his return, has been getting absolutely rocked. Okay, so we have to understand how this looks. So we really don't want to look too much at pitcher stats. We just want to see how does he face during his pitches this year and where we're at. We're talking about a guy batting .329 with 4 home runs in August. So I think that the Yandy Diaz play is going to be a combination of maybe not as, I would have said go Yandy Diaz bases when he was batting first. I think now we want to focus more on the HRR, the RBI. Like there's just so much in play here. Maybe he didn't hit a home run yesterday. I thought he did. Again, things are a little glitched out right now. I could have swore. It wouldn't shock me if we are not showing yesterday's stats. Yeah, I mean, again, an off day on the software here. My apologies, folks. But if you went to my other video, trust me, this thing is doing some amazing stuff. So yesterday, home run, 2 RBIs, walked, scored 2 runs. Yeah, hot batter. So I think the HR at -120, like I can't scream enough that that's a play of the day. That is an absolute, I can't believe it's -120 play of the day, to be honest. Like that is actually a little crazy to me that it's that low. So we are going to hop in these streets. We're going to BetMGM that is offering that. And we're going to put us a nice unit on that. I just absolutely love that play. I think that, first of all, it's not recognizing yesterday's stats. So slap another blue in there. He's 8 out of 10 on this. This is a hittable pitcher. Everything about this tells me, yep. Where they have him in the lineup, everything about it, yep. Put me in on that. From there, sprinkle whatever you like. I'm going to leave it up to you folks. You can go as crazy on it as you want, but if you want me to pick out one play that just tells me, yep, it's the HRR. Do you go the single also at -20? I think that's good value. All these I think are just telling me, and again, let's be clear here. These are all considered favorable matchups. So Aranda, I don't think he got me the single yesterday. I've been big on his singles. He never faced old Shane Bieber. He's only faced current Shane Bieber. He hit a home run against him. He's hit singles in 8 of his last 10. I think that he did. I don't think he got a single yesterday. But Aranda, I would say to get a single, the fact they have him now move to 3rd also, I think, makes me really reconsider him as an HR. Of all the plays that are on here, the guy that's actually a little cold for Tampa Bay, who hasn't been crushing it as much, is Caminero. And even he loves a fastball, has a hittable fastball, hits righties, has hit a home run against him in the past. But he is batting .232 in August. So let's not overbet Caminero. I got to be honest, especially batting second. I don't think that I'm as big on Caminero, where your other people not using true software are probably just betting the name. Yandy Diaz, to me, is the better one. And then, holy cow, like Chandler Simpson leading off. I'm not interested in 1.5 hits. I would like to see 328 against righties, 317 on the fastball. Did not hit Shane great. He is batting .418 in August. So what do we know on Simpson? What do I want to tell you my plays is on Simpson? As a leadoff batter, I think you should look at, because I'm going to wrap this video up. Simpson is your single guy. He's your run. Maybe a stolen base. I don't know how crafty Bieber is against that, but he is a righty, which does help. Just kind of going down this whole line, I would say, and again, this is a weird day. Rasmussen is not pitching today. It's not Rasmussen. It's Ian Seymour, which is also where I think there could be some runs scored by Toronto. He's a little more hittable. So Yandy, I mean, if you want to sprinkle home runs, HR, RBI now, RBI for Yandy Diaz, where he's at, is going to be plus money. The system doesn't quite, like, this has only happened. This is the 3rd game since they've switched this lineup. So the Yandy Diaz RBI comes way into play. I think this downgrades Caminero a little bit on some of his backup stats. He's a little cold, so I don't really know what the Caminero play is. Simpson to get on base, to cause all kinds of hell, absolutely. Aranda, a little bit of a mixed bag, batting 3rd, not sure what to say. The one part of this lineup that's a little bit of the wild card, let's just search him, is Mullins. He's batting 5th. I wanted to just see if this supports like what else we see here. What, like, the end of this lineup doesn't really do it for me today. This is very top heavy. So I'm hoping Mullins also shows kind of clean, and he really doesn't, right? He really doesn't. So not great history, not great against the fastball. I am a little concerned. Again, is he hot lately? Better. Him being hot is him batting .250. So I have to admit, there's one piece of this lineup that's got me a little upset. We don't have Liam Hickson today. I guess we're giving him a rest day. So that downgrades a little bit of what I think. Like, this is very much a 1 through 4 lineup, in my opinion. which is a little disappointing. So that's why I love when lineups come up. It makes me readjust. I think maybe now we don't look at the Tampa Bay 1.5 run line. I think we look to parlay that runs are going to be scored. Seymour has been a little bit more hittable of late. Toronto has been hotter of late. I think you try to combo a Tampa Bay with total runs type prop. I'm going to look up one last guy, just kind of curious what this guy's been up to. So this is the last lefty in the lineup. So it's kind of odd. We're kind of wrapping up. Why is Liam Hicks not playing today? Why is Liam Hicks not playing today? So again, though, kind of crazy. 70% hitting HRRs at plus 137. Okay. Batting 341 in August. Why did we put Palacios down to 7th? All right, let's look up this guy's stats. Is he playing the full game? That might be a little gem we just found. Does that go back and support this? 4.33 at bat, 4.43. So he has been sub some in the past. Holy shit. Last umpteen games, hit was a designated hitter. So we're not even going to count that. He got 1 at bat. So all the games where he's been a starter, hit, no, hit, 2 hits, 1 hit, 2 hits. And then he was a designated hitter August 10th. Palacios at plus money, HRR. Shady pitcher. Kind of liking this, folks. Another hot Tampa Bay at bat. Okay. There we are, folks. That's going to be the video. We need to wrap this up. I need to get into work. Best of luck out on these streets. I think that we've got a great day ahead of us, and you have a wonderful day here. Edgeboard.com